Hello, everybody, and thanks for listening. So, you see this title here: LeBron James, Lakers player, faced with canceled appearances. He has lost a $1 million endorsement in China. And this is by a Jason Owens out of Yahoo Sports. And so, LeBron James has received a lot of backlash on Twitter and on various social media outlets because of his comments or not having a comment. He's accused of being silent in one sense, and then he's also accused of siding with the Chinese government in another. And so he made some comments on Twitter, and the videos go into the details of the Twitter comments and the feedback that he gave. And if you have already looked at that and you already know what's going on, I'm going to read this. This is by Jason Owens out of Yahoo Sports, October 16. So much has been made of the NBA and the players' reaction to the league's China conflict, with LeBron James' comments in the recent days, the latest to cause an uproar. So, a Wednesday report shed light on some of the significant financial consequences that the NBA players are facing as they remain under fire for their collective silence. Listen, collective silence on the human rights concerns in Hong Kong. Both the league and its players are making financial decisions as China reacts to Houston Rocket general manager Daryl Morey showing public support for Hong Kong citizens in their struggle with the communist Chinese regime. So they're taking heat for appearing to prioritize those financial interests over human rights issues in Hong Kong and Morey's ability to speak freely on the issue. So while the larger financial impact of the country cutting off NBA access to its $1.4 billion citizens via state-run media as merchandise is pulled off the shelves is clear, not much has been made of the specific consequences players are facing. Details emerge of financial consequences for players. ESPN's Dave McMenamin provided details on Wednesday from the LA Lakers to the Brooklyn Nets' recent drama-filled trip to China and shed light onto those financial pressures. And yes, James has faced immediate business consequences as soon as he had landed in China. James alluded to those events being canceled when he made his initial controversial comment on the trip earlier this week. So this is out of his comment on his Twitter feed. This is from LeBron James. Quote, a lot of individual appearances got canceled, so it kept us even closer, James said on the Lakers. And so it allowed guys not to be able to go on their own. And obviously, yes, a lot of people had some business to take care of while they were over there, too, business on basketball. But with the cancellation of so many different events and so many different appearances, it allowed us to be together, all of us, just our whole team, quote, end quote. LeBron James. So James had planned to handle important business in China. McMenamin reports that James had planned to use the trip as a chance to handle business dealings that he neglected when he skipped an annual appearance to China to work on the movie Space Jam Part 2 over the summer. So this is LeBron James pictured here, very much a big focal point and a big figure in the sports world in the Los Angeles Lakers. And here he is pictured here in his 23 jersey. So details have emerged on the financial consequences LeBron James is being faced with and his teammates in China. So Nike beats in play for LeBron in China. This goes on to say that two of those were the events with heavyweight sponsors, Nike and Beats by Dre. Those are some real heavily marketed uh, products in China. According to McMenamin, who characterized the planned events as some of his most important of the year, so they did not happen. However, so McMenamin also noted that Nike sales has been surging in China prior to the flap with the NBA. So James' lifetime contract with Nike is reportedly valued at the ballpark of $1 billion. So one player had reportedly lost out on a $1 million endorsement. So James wasn't the only player who had been stricken with financial stakes tied directly to their parents in China, but Anthony Davis, Kyle Kuzma, and Rajon Rondo all faced cancellation or canceled events, according to the report. And one unnamed player reportedly lost $1 million endorsement as a direct result of the league's conflict with China. And so they have taken a financial hit. And so as long as these players who are now normally apt to speak on social justice issues remain silent on the plight of Hong Kong alongside reports like McMenamin's criticism over their reactions, it will persist. So I made some comments based on LeBron's not commenting or trying to not really intercede and making the comments on Daryl Morey's showing support for the citizens of Hong Kong. I felt as though this is the way I took it, is that he was trying to be neutral. LeBron was trying to stay out of the conflict and just be about the business and be about the ball game and the league and be about the business and stick to that in a professional manner. Now, what I connected this with is how here in Los Angeles, being it so that LeBron James is a big figure and he's black, he's part of the black, as far as I'm concerned, part of our community as black people. He's a big figure and he represents Los Angeles Lakers. And what moment better than now to mention these issues about political plights of people's culture and to mention the political plights that we've had in the black communities here in Los Angeles, which have been largely affected by the Asian communities that have been silent about the plights of black people in the poor neighborhoods that they usually come, set up shop. They open liquor stores, laundromats, businesses, fast food restaurant, Hong Kong Express, fast food businesses, mom pop stores. They have beauty supply shops, nail shops. There's all types of businesses that have grown and have been very lucrative in these communities that are primarily or largely have been black communities over the past years. But yet, when there's shootings of black children, when there's any incidences of black discord having to do with law enforcement or injustices that have happened for the plights of black people, how many Asian citizens step forward and speak on the plights of black people? Nope, they remain silent as well. That's what I'm saying. It's not to put a monkey wrench in things, but it's to shed light on how that it's contradictory that now that there is a problem going on in a foreign country and having to do with a plight of people's injustices and their interest in their culture, and being it so that they're heavily endorsing a black player from Los Angeles Lakers. They want him to speak on those issues, and because he does not want to speak on those issues because he's trying to keep neutral in the situations, the way I'm looking at it, because he's saying that it could hurt people's careers and what have you, and it could hurt people in the long run, blah, blah, blah. It's still hurting him. Financially, they're pulling out and they're not endorsing him, and they're taking all of the money that they've been putting towards giving for this particular team, they're pulling him back as a collective. How many times in the black community have black people patronized Asian community merchants, Asian shopkeepers, and they have built businesses? K-Town was small, now it has grown from K-Town to K-City almost. It's not K-Town, it's, as far as I'm concerned. It has grown. A lot of their businesses have done well in poor black communities, but yet you do not see them employing many black people. They are not concerned. They, as in the Asian community as a whole, collectively have shown great interest in the black community. There's only been a small portion of people that have, and those are individuals. But some of these shopkeepers, we still have liquor stores that are still within a 5-mile radius. We still have a lot of these businesses that are not really hugely black owned, that are operated and heavily owned by Asian shopkeepers, store owners, and business people that see these communities as opportunity to profit off of black dollars. And when black people get killed, when there's injustices done to black people, we still fall short. And so I had mentioned the Latasha Harlins incident as a connection to the long-standing issues that have happened even up till now, where we still see things that are happening in our communities that have really reflected that things have not really changed very much. There had been some activists that had came forward and wanted the liquor stores to be eradicated, where they were not within a 5-mile radius, where they were not heavily clan gated on every corner in black communities. But I will tell you from experience, I do see liquor stores that are within less than a 5-mile radius, and a lot of other businesses that are still heavily owned by Asian community business people. And there's still some of the same tensions, racial tensions. The only thing that has changed a little is that you have some of these Asian shopkeepers who have employed Latino people to do their watchdog tactics, where if you come in as a black customer, you're being watched. The Latino guy or person that's working for the Asian owner will act as though they're shifting boxes or moving something or cleaning something, when they're really being instructed by the Asian shopkeeper to keep watch on all the black people, that they don't steal their products and their merchandise. And so a lot of the pictures that are reflected when they have gas stations like 76 South, for example, I'll tell you a story about the 76 gas station that's located near the USC community at Vermont and Adams. There's a 76 gas station where all the photos had black people on it, and you didn't see very many Latino people. And there were these two Latino guys that would come in every other weekend, and they'd have Latino women in wheelchairs, and one would fake like she had a seizure, while the other one would be in the back filling his backpack and filling there's like a little compartment under the wheelchair. He would be filling that with all the store items, and then he'd ease on out. And when that Asian shopkeeper, there was a guy that was Asian, he'd be working in the front, very mean, very stern, and very visceral at black people that come in. He would then he'd look, and as soon as he thinks that this woman is coming out of the seizure, these people have made off with a bunch of their items in that store. And they were not black that were stealing. There were Hispanic people, guys that were stealing, and they had two old Hispanic women working with them in the little scheme that they were doing. But you never would see their photos posted up that they also were participating in shoplifting. And so they make it seem, as they paint this broad brush, that it's just because of one group or a couple of negative experiences that the whole community of black people are thieves and criminals, stereotyping us. So a lot of times that we're in these communities, you try to find black businesses, you can't find as many. We don't trust one another because of some of the rifts we have within our own culture, but yet we trust these Asian shopkeepers who had a history of being very rude to black customers. They want you to spend money in there. They want you to hurry up and buy stuff, and they want you to get out. And if you don't buy anything, if you just look around, they're mad at you because you came in there and you didn't spend money with them. So they have the attitude where they're just about the business, and they stay silent. When anytime black kids get killed or we get racially profiled, you never see them running forward and posting signs and stepping out and trying to speak in behalf of black community, which heavily finances their businesses and gives them economic gains. That's the reason why K-Town is partly so lucrative as it is, because most of the businesses over there are not only just funded with them bouncing money back and forth towards one another, but also you have black people that are going into their liquor stores and their laundromats because everything is right around the corner. It's convenient, and they centralize their businesses right in the communities of the people that they dislike. And so this is what we've experienced for years over and over again. And so most of the businesses that do probably the best are to be honest, is the beauty supply shops. The beauty supply shops have been a focal point in the nail shops, which are, usually Vietnamese people, and then you have Korean people in there, or Chinese people, or you all have in the beauty supply shops Korean store owners and shopkeepers that own that companies, the store. And so I had a couple of friends that told me they wanted to break into the business of, selling like hair weave products to women who wanted they wanted to market within their own community. They were black people who wanted to be entrepreneurial business owners. They tried to open up dialogue with Korean owners to try to see if they could collaborate, and they virtually wanted to shut them out. They didn't want to collaborate with black business owner, the friends that I knew. So I knew this to be true, that they usually like to keep things within their own culture. They like to keep money within their own culture. They like to advance within their own culture, and they're not concerned so much of the plight of black people. Unless you are spending money with them and you are filling and lining their pockets and wallets. That's what I've experienced. That's what I've seen. That's what I've learned over the past years here in Los Angeles. And so for this group of people to have pictures of LeBron and burning his face and making fun of him and poking fun of him, and then turning around saying that they're angry with him and blowing him up on Twitter and saying all this mean stuff about him, yet those same groups come here opening up businesses, and most of the businesses that have like some of those fast food restaurants where they're not healthy, the food's not healthy, it's greasy, they have roaches and bugs in there, and if you send the health inspector, I'm sure they're going to find rats. And I've been very much wondering what all of the cut up meat really is. Is it really chicken, or is it something else? And they say it's chicken and beef and what have you, and then you don't know what's fell off in there. And so I'm just being honest. And so they market to black people. They want our money. They want to profit off of us and become rich. Then they move into these areas and they get houses. They pay cash, and yet none of that money supports any black businesses whatsoever. There's no no calling from those communities of unity and coming together with black people. Yet they'll live alongside of us. They'll take our money. They want us to furnish buying things out of their business, but yet they don't want to do business with us on a personal level. So I find that to be extremely contradicting. I'm just saying that. And I know somebody's going to say something against what I'm saying, but anybody that is black in this community of Los Angeles that has lived here in the 90s knows what I'm talking about. If you've seen this, if you've been treated like this, you know where I'm coming from. And I'm not going to bite my tongue about what is really happening. They're not telling the truth about what really has gone on here. And for them to be putting his picture and burning it and making fun of it, we don't do that to their leaders. We don't do that to their artists and to their people that they hold dearly. They don't have a problem tearing down his picture. As a matter of fact, they're stepping on his picture. They're burning it. They're probably doing all kind of nasty things to it. And so this is the kind of thing that people don't think about. Yet we're going to go in there, spend our money, and then we're not going to get treated right. We're going to get treated disrespectfully. Had you not seen the video that surfaced on YouTube where the two black women who said they spend money relatively almost every month, two, 3 times a week in the nail shop, they were accosted, they were attacked by a group of Vietnamese women and beat with brooms. Then we had a woman who, her kid went into the store, he had something in his hand. She went to go bring it back because she was teaching him, no, you don't take things out of the store. It belongs in the store, it stays there. How many little kids have done things like that? Because they don't know any better. And so she's teaching him, this is what you don't do. So she goes to bring it back. The store shopkeeper, I'm assuming he's Korean, beauty supply shop, he punched her in the face. Punched her in the mouth, I believe. That video surfaced. And so the black women go in there to get weaves, they get braiding hair, they get grease, they get all kinds of stuff, shampoos, conditioners, hair products, you name it. And the people that own it are not black people. We're just now starting to see some beauty supply shops which really should have been owned by black people because that's how we can make money. Really, they're owned primarily by Asian folks that are owned and operated most of these businesses, but they treat us like dirt under their feet. So I'm going to say that I had to redo this video because it was rudely interrupted. And so I want to play for you. I know there were some women that were up here, and it was a woman that was saying, oh, LeBron is going to learn his lesson. He's going to learn his lesson. Well, guess what? You need to learn your lesson. She claims she's a Black Lives activist. I don't think so, because if you were, and I've never seen her in the neighborhood. Let's just be blunt about it. I've never seen her in the hood. The only time I've seen this woman is on the news outlet saying she's an activist for Black Lives Matter. I don't know who that black woman was, but she ain't no activist, because if she was an activist, then she wouldn't be saying that. Because she obviously hadn't had the same set of experiences that I have and many other black people that live in these communities that have been mistreated by this group of folks. And so I'm well aware that the Asian community has not only Korean, they have Vietnamese, Malaysian, they have Chinese, they have all of these other people, groups that are under the umbrella of quote-unquote Asian community. But when we have had dealings with them in the past, the ones that are the shopkeepers that I'm particularly referring to have not been the best at being courteous and kind to their patrons, which heavily are patronized by the black community, which they do not. You never see them coming forward and speaking on behalf of black people, but yet they want our money and they want us to spend money in their stores and make them rich. So that is basically what I'm saying. And for them to turn around and now flip-flop and do this thing on LeBron because they heavily endorse the sport of basketball and LeBron's a big figure, they want him to speak for the plight of their people. Wow. Think about this. Think about this. What do you think about this? This is all really, really, really not. not really showing how they've forgotten about what about the Latasha Harlins incident? How black people wanted to come together and unify in behalf of that issue. But nobody said anything. They're silent. You only have a few Asian people that might have stepped forward and they came to the candlelight vigil. But you didn't see a whole outpouring of that community. No, and you won't. And you won't. But if you go and spend money in their shop, they like your wallet. They don't like us as black people. They like our money, our black dollars, to keep them wealthy and rich. Having said that, let me see. This video right here basically was talking about some of the issues of LeBron. And I really, in the first beginning, when I played the video, it had a lot of interference and it was really, had a lot of talking. But what do you think about this? I think I'm not going to play the video because they put things in these videos where it contradicts, or it doesn't really put out the truth of what has gone on. The reason why I'm connecting this, I know you say, oh, these are two separate issues. No, not too much. Because LeBron, what jerseys? He's the Los Angeles Lakers. He's representing Los Angeles. What history has happened in Los Angeles with the Asian groups and black community? And now all of a sudden they want to get mad at him. They're showing his face as the poster boy for ridicule right now. And so where's all of this hatred coming from? I just thought I would shed light on that because I don't think people realize that there's a long history that has happened in Los Angeles that has severed the Asian communities in the sense of having to do with economics, gentrification, and greed, and racial bias and stereotyping. So with that being said, I'm going to let this video go. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for listening.